So Friday was the trade deadline for the National Hockey League, and the Red Wings were expected to be a little bit busier this time around than the last couple of years. Last few years, it's where the Red Wings are kind of in the bubble. Do we buy? Do we try to give up some stuff and try to add to the team and make a playoff push, or do we kind of sit and wait? We don't want to make some additions, and then all of a sudden the team is awful, and then they don't make the playoffs, and then we just wasted picks or prospects or both. Well, the Red Wings in a little bit of a better spot this year. They've been more consistently, especially lately, hanging around the top three of the division, if not leading the wild card. They were, a top two team in the division for quite some time. But regardless, Red Wings in a much stronger position this time around at the trade deadline than in several years past. And some of the rumored pickups that the Red Wings were looking at was a second or third line center and then a second line defenseman. Looking to make some upgrades there. So first trade, this was from Thursday. The Red Wings reacquired David Perron from the Senators for a conditional fourth-round pick. So very low-risk move with David Perron. He's injured right now, but he is expected, I think, in the next 2 or 3 weeks to return. But, he's going to be like a third, if not fourth line forward for this Red Wings team. So not really that big of a move, but, hey, always good to have a welcome face back in the locker room in David Perron. And that brings us to Friday, right at the trade deadline. We had two moves that the Red Wings made on deadline day. This is a more minor move. First one, Elmer Soderblom traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins for a third-round pick in the upcoming draft. And then that brings us to our big trade. Justin Faulk, defenseman from the St. Louis Blues. He was rumored to be on the market as the Blues really selling off this trade deadline. And the Red Wings acquire Holl. Sorry, they acquired Justin Faulk in exchange for Justin Holl, who didn't even play a single game this year for the Red Wings. Able to offload him. Also traded prospect Dmitry Buchelnikov, and then a first-round pick and third-round pick from this upcoming draft. So if you think about it this way, getting the third-round pick for Soderblom pretty much cancels out the third-round pick that they lose in this upcoming draft. So the Red Wings at the trade deadline, in total, they get Justin Faulk and David Perron in exchange for a first-rounder, a conditional fourth-rounder, Justin Holl, and prospect Dmitry Buchelnikov. So I would say that's really good. Good stuff for the Red Wings this trade deadline. Actually, especially with Justin Faulk making a move that actually moves the needle for this team and can really help them in their playoff run. And most importantly, they don't really lose anything that was in their current rotation. They're only adding to it. The only one being Elmer Soderblom, but fourth line guy, who cares? Those guys are always replaceable and expendable, whatever. So that was done on Friday. And the Red Wings, ahead of that, they do lose 3-1 against the Panthers, which pretty bad game. Matthew Tkachuk, one of the big guys on Team USA Hockey, he gets the hat trick. Got the lone goal for the Panthers in the first period. DeBrincat tied it up midway through the second on the power play. And then third period, early in, Tkachuk strikes again on the power play, made it 2-1. And then Panthers getting an empty netter to seal the deal late in the third. And the big news in this one was Dylan Larkin going down with an injury. So Dylan Larkin's going to be out. We'll see exactly how long he's going to be out with a lower body injury. It looks like he's just considered day-to-day. He did miss the team's next game, which was yesterday, but really good game for the Red Wings. 3-0 over the Devils. Even though they narrowly, but they did get outshot. I did not really think that any of the Devils' chances were really threatening. I thought the Red Wings did an excellent job of limiting those grade A scoring chances, and the Red Wings, they had a lot of quality offensive zone time in this one, where they not only just, get a shot, no, it's already out of the zone and you got to get back or line change or whatever. They would get some quality shots, and they would be able to keep possessions alive. They prevented New Jersey from getting those early clear outs, and they were able to hold it in and get some more chances and really put that pressure on Markstrom. And they were able to have a lot of success. So, Seider, first goal of the game, nice shot on the point, able to make it 1-0 in the dying minutes there of the first period. And then second period, another nice point shot from Seider, but a nasty tip-in from JVR, James Van Riemsdyk, able to make it 2-0. And then third period, he spent some time with the Red Wings last year, but getting a call-up, playing the last couple of weeks. Dominic Shine, able to get his first career NHL goal. This one, another beautiful setup from James Van Riemsdyk, JVR, the setup man who's been terrific the really last 2 months specifically. But sets up Shine, nice pass in front of the net. Shine able to clean up the mess, get his first career goal. And the Red Wings, again, they were able to prevent John Gibson and then later on Cam Talbot from seeing too much pressure in this one. And that's right, just like the Nashville game last week, John Gibson, he had a player crash into him in net right at the end of the second period. And even the announcers were commenting on it throughout the game. It seemed like Gibson was dealing with something all night, even before that. But yeah, after that collision in net, it was going to be like, all right, he's going to be done. But he did play the rest of the period, but he was replaced by Cam Talbot, who did play the third period and did a very good job. So a combined shutout from Talbot and Gibson. They did officially, looks like, credit Gibson with the win. But, 3-0. Red Wings take down New Jersey. And they look good overall. But most importantly in this one, not only do the Red Wings get a win without Dylan Larkin playing, not only do the Red Wings get a win where John Gibson has to leave the game early with an injury, but we got to see the debut of Justin Faulk in a Red Wings sweater. And he led the team in hits, also had a ton of blocked shots as well. Led the team in blocks. And this guy, you feel his presence when he's out there. And that's in the NHL. When you have guys that are out there that really move the needle, it shows. It's very apparent. And it's a one-game sample size, sure. But I liked what I saw from Justin Faulk. He had a nice little breakaway opportunity as well. So, yeah, I'm happy. It's a one-game return. It's a one-game sample size. But, I don't know. I already get a good feeling with Justin Faulk that was a really, really good trade deadline acquisition by Steve Yzerman as the Red Wings try to lock and load, ready for their playoff push, especially with a tightening playoff picture with an ever-changing landscape. For a little bit, the Lightning got super hot, and it looked like they really were going to start pulling away with this Atlantic Division, but not so fast. The Sabres, who are on a 7-game winning streak, and they've been pretty much hot the entire time the Red Wings have been hot for, which is since the start of December, but the Sabres have not really had any drop-off or trail-off like the Red Wings had. Kind of going into the Olympic break and then coming out of it with some of those injuries, but the Sabres have kept chucking on along and had a slugfest, potential game of the year last night, able to take down the Lightning 8-7 and immediately take over that division. So the Sabres now leading the Atlantic Division with 84 points. Lightning have 82. Red Wings with 79 get a big 2 points as they leapfrog over Montreal. And they get back into the top 3 in that Atlantic Division, and they now have a 6-point buffer over the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are the first team out of the playoffs for the Eastern Conference. Red Wings' next game is tomorrow against the Florida Panthers. Get another try there against Florida. And then looking ahead to Thursday, the Red Wings will play the Tampa Bay Lightning, who I mentioned they just lost to the Sabres last night, but they've actually been playing kind of rough hockey lately. But pretty big games in the division coming up, especially as every point is huge. Every point is important. You got to get to 2 points. I keep mentioning it's a disappointment these days if you lose in overtime, even if you get the point. I mean, it feels like you basically get 0 because you know, not only do you not get your maximum points for that game, but you also got teams behind you that are starting to, be a little bit closer than objects appear in that side view mirror. They're getting hot. So you're still losing ground even if you get a point in some of these cases. So got to keep playing strong. I'm really happy with the trade deadline acquisition of Justin Faulk, and we'll see if the Red Wings can continue the momentum in their next couple of games as they take on a couple of these Florida teams. So that'll be coming up for the Red Wings this week.
If you missed today's installment of On the Docket, podcast it at foxsports1019.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to tune in live weekdays at noon on Jackson's Fox Sports 101.9 FM.